Good afternoon, folks. Gary here from WP Butler, and again this week I'm joined by the magnificent Geoff Franklin.
Hello.
You got another vote last week for saying Geoff.
Singular vote, yes.
Yeah,
that was enough.
I think first week was your mum, and second week I think it's your brother.
It's all good. It's all good.
Thanks, Matt. Looking after your little bro. That's the way, mate. That's
At the end of the day, I'm here to answer your questions.
That's right. That's right. So again, this week, Geoff on the couch and Andrew behind the camera. G'day, mate. I think what we're going to have to do is now do a save Andrew.
Yeah. He's on the bench. He's on the bench,
yeah,
keeping it warm.
You've blocked his run, mate. You've blocked his run.
That's all right.
It's a competitive game, this on the couch on Friday afternoon, Facebook Live with with the WP Butler crew. All right, plenty to get through. Thanks again for sending in your questions, folks. If you want to get in touch with us, probably the best way to do it is to jump onto the Facebook page and send us a message or leave a comment in one of the videos. Or you can jump on and send us an email at wpbutler@wpbutler.com.au. That'll get to us and we'll be able to help you out. All right.
Giddy up.
Here we go. Casey from Brisbane asks, we have a membership website set up and we have a database of old users that we need to bring across. What's the best way to do this in your opinion? Geoff, what's the best way to do this in your opinion?
In my opinion, okay, so what really helps is if you have that database in like a spreadsheet, like a Microsoft Excel, or typically a CSV file, would be really great, because there's a plugin that I like to use as a starting point. Import, I can't remember the name exactly, import users by CSV file, something along those lines, but it's usually the first one that pops up. And that plugin, it's very, very simple. I mean, it only needs to be simple for the purpose that of what you're trying to do here. So long as you've got that CSV file, there is a format that needs to be set up in. So long as in that spreadsheet file, CSV file, you've got the list of usernames and the email addresses, that's essentially all you need. And the part of the documentation with that plugin tells you how to format that exactly. But basically, so long as you've got those two columns in that CSV file, once you've installed and activated that plugin, under the tools section in your sidebar, you'll see it pop up in there as a menu item. And when you go in there, you'll select your CSV file, and it's quite linear, just follow the instructions. And so basically that'll pull in all the users that you want to import into your site. And then from that point, depending on the membership plugin that you're using, the one that springs to mind right now, Restrict Content Pro, is a plugin that membership plugin that we've used quite frequently, and it actually has an option in its settings that any new members, any new users that get added to a site get automatically assigned to a membership plan that you create in the plugin. So depending on the membership plugin you'll have plans that you set up, and typically there'll be a default one. So Restrict Content Pro allows you to set up a default plan. So when you go and import all those new users, they'll get assigned to that default plan, and that's a great starting point. So that'll get all your users into your membership site, and then from there you'll be able to go in and they'll actually get, once you've imported them, they'll actually get sent a request to set up a new password. That's the most secure way to do it. So yeah, like I said in that spreadsheet, so long as you've got the username and email, the password will automatically get generated. They'll get sent an email to set up their password. So that's basically it. But yeah, if you need help with that, we're here to help.
Casey, I hope that was of some use to you. If you're still having trouble with that, make sure that you reach out to us at wpbutler.com.au and you can pick up a support ticket. If you land on wpbutler.com.au, up the top there is a big yellow button that says buy ticket, or you can fill in the support request form, or you can jump on live chat, or simply pick up the phone and dial the number that's on the screen, and you will be able to talk to one of our WP Butler gurus. All right, thank you, Jeffrey.
No worries.
Next, Richard from Perth asks, when I'm logged into the admin area of my site, I'm always seeing that plugin updates need to be done. Should I just click update for all of them? What should I do? What should you do? What's your advice?
Well, we've had people come along who've done just that. They've gone and clicked update to all of them, and it's crashed their site or it's done something funny. So don't do that. So before you do any updating, especially if you've got lots and lots of plugins sitting there that do need to be updated, make sure you've got a backup of your site and that you have access to your hosting details. And that's what we'd need to if we're going to help you with that as well. We make sure that we've got access to your hosting and a WordPress admin login so we can go into the backend and do those updates. So for yourself, make sure that you have access to that before you even look at clicking that update button. And then typically what I do is the process of updating plugins. If there's a lot of them, I do them in batches because depending on, say if there's like 30 plugins that need updating, I do them in say batches of 5 because depending on your hosting provider, it may not have the resources to do all the updates in one hit. And that's typically what happens when people just click update all. The server can't handle it. So yeah, just a word of precaution is to just do it in batches of 5. Perhaps actually back up from there, depending on your site. If it's a WooCommerce site or like a forum type site that may be like BuddyPress, you may have heard of BuddyPress, but if your website has one of those plugins that's like a core feature plugin like WooCommerce, start with those. So start with updating WooCommerce first. Then go to BuddyPress, and there's some other ones, but they're the ones that pop to mind now. And then from there, start updating like the extensions of WooCommerce. So you might have, a WooCommerce subscription plugin or a membership plugin. Start working your way through the plugins from there. And then once you've done that, then you can perhaps start from the top of the list and start updating in chunks of 5. So that's typically what we do. But on the clients who we host on our dedicated WordPress environment, we can quite safely go through and like do it in chunks. It's with peace of mind. Again, it all comes down to what your hosting, all down to your hosting, what resources it has to manage those updates.
It's also pretty rare that we'd see that there's a site that needed, particularly if we're managing it. It'd never happen if we were doing it, but we don't need to be doing 30 updates at a time because we're obviously doing it on a very regular basis and making sure that the updates are done when the updates need to be done. So we're not leaving sites in a bit of a derelict way. Sorry, mate, keep going. So you've done updated all your plugins. Then again, if one of the core functions of your site is WooCommerce, go and test, do some test payments, transactions, orders, just to make sure that's sticking along. And any other plugins that have specific features, make sure that they're working as well. So just the contact form, that kind of thing. But that's basically the process. That's basically the process. And what we'd encourage you to do is we approach updates and maintenance, updates of themes and plugins and the WP core, sort of like maintaining your car. Not a lot of people are mechanics and they're not about to do your own service on your own car. So updating your WordPress website is sort of a lot like doing service on your website. So just we're not saying don't do it, but you need to follow yourself a process. Otherwise, you do run the risk of breaking things. But if you want to take the hassle out of backup, security, maintenance, updating plugins, themes, etc., go and check out wpbutler.com.au/sitecare and check out some of our site care plans where we take care of all of that for you. Well, mate, thank you very much.
Cool.
Aaron from Canberra asks, I want to do some email marketing. What's the best way for me to copy all my customer data from my WooCommerce store into my email marketing program? I use MailChimp, by the way.
Oh, I like it.
Right up your alley, isn't it?
Cool. Well, you basically said it right there. I mean, you're using MailChimp, and MailChimp is a very popular email marketing platform. And funnily enough, there's a plugin that we like to recommend for this job. Exactly. And it's available for free on the WooCommerce.com marketplace. So you can head over there, and it's just called MailChimp for WooCommerce. Plain and simple, right? So install that plugin, and basically, so long as you got your MailChimp account, you've installed the plugin and activated it. It's really basic. All the work's done by the plugin, essentially. So what you'll need to make sure you do is create what's called an API key. So go into your MailChimp account, you'll create an API key, and the plugin actually has some notes on how, to help you with that. And you need that API key, to put into the settings of the MailChimp for WooCommerce plugin. And what that'll do is then create the link from your website, from your website to MailChimp. And so long as you've got a list set up in your MailChimp account, it'll then take all your customer data, all the orders, all the email, name, all that good stuff. It'll do a live sync from your website to MailChimp. So anything that's going on your website will appear in your MailChimp account. So actually, Andrew was showing me like a lot more about it the other day, and I was like, well, I gotta use this. I gotta share this with people. See, that's a really awesome plugin. Check that one out.
If you need MailChimp connected to your WordPress plugin, or any third-party resource that you want to talk to your WordPress website, just give us a shout at wpbutler.com.au. Probably best, before you go ahead and just buy a ticket, probably jump on chat, pick up the phone, or fill in the support form there, and just have a chat to one of these two gurus, Andrew or Geoff, in regards to that, because that's definitely their wheelhouse, connecting WordPress up to third-party software and making it all happen. So that's wpbutler.com.au, and just reach out and we'll help you out. But that's it for questions this week.
Cool.
WordPress news. What do you got? What have you been seeing out there? What's burning the web down? What's got the net on fire in terms of WordPress?
Next week, actually, WordPress 5.1 is finally going to be released. Well, they keep sort of dragging it along, but they say next Thursday, I think I saw they're releasing WordPress 5.1. It's a big one. There's going to be a bunch of performance improvements, which they just continually work on, which is amazing. They're going to add more performance updates to the block editor. So they're going to so the new Gutenberg editor, they're improving the performance on that again, adding some extra features there. And what they're also going to be doing now with PHP, the versions of PHP 5.6 and 7.0, all starting to get phased out. We're not supported anymore. They're actually introducing this tool called Site Health Check. I think Site Check, Health Check, so something along those lines. But basically, what that'll allow you to do is, before you go and activate a plugin on your website, this tool built into WordPress 5.1 will allow you to check that plugin, make sure it's all good to go before you plug it in and start using it, which I think is available as a plugin separately, but it's going to be built into WordPress 5.1, which is really cool. So they just keep jam-packing that with so many good new features, and it's cool to see.
Just on that, you mentioned Gutenberg there again. We're still stockpiling all your Gutenberg questions. So we're going to have a Gutenberg special on our Friday Q&A, and that'll come to you real soon. So stay tuned. Thanks, mate. Something I've been checking out was the announcement of the WooCommerce app has been released on both Android and iOS. A little bit contentious in the sense that there's some people that are loving it, some people that are throwing a bit of hate on it, and the main reason being is that it requires Jetpack to connect. So the argument around that, if you're not familiar with it, is that Jetpack is the security piece in the middle that enables the push notifications and the data to flow, and that's Google's preferred way of doing it at the moment. So those lovers of Jetpack will dig it, and those haters, well, you're probably going to have to continue to hate, because that's the way it's going to be for a little while longer. The other part is that what it enables you to do, I suppose, is keep a track of your web store on the fly. So you can see orders coming in, you can see the important customer data. and customer detail. It doesn't allow you at this stage to sort of update products on the fly or load new bits and pieces in, but it certainly enables you to see what's going on with your store if you're out and about and nowhere near your desktop.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it from us today, or me anyway. What about you, mate? You got anything else?
I just see Nicole's left a little message there. Yes, Nicole, join us next week with all your questions. Far away.
Thanks for tuning in, Nick. Okay, and thanks for everyone for tuning in. I can see plenty of numbers chocking up there. So thank you very much for supporting WP Butler's Friday Facebook Live Q&A session. We hope to be bringing you more and more of these during the week as well as we start to get more and more questions. So we're happy to spend the time on the couch if you want to spend the time firing in your questions. So until then, if you've got anything WordPress at all, reach out to us at wpbutler.com.au and we'll see you next week. Tune in then.
Cheers, guys.